host of Shaping Success, Wes Tankersley.
What is up, everyone? Welcome to Shaping Success. I'm your host, Wes Tankersley. Just getting this TikTok live wound up here. This is morning coffee. We do this every day. Seems as though. I got my Giants cup, but I am drinking my Warriors Collection coffee. And if you want to get some Warriors Collection coffee, I love the Thin Blue line. You can go to warriorscollection.com and use code hashtag SWC, get 15% off. If you like coffee, well, that's why we're doing this. This is morning coffee. It's just a day away for me to hop on here and reflect and kind of conversate with you people. Yeah, that's right. I said that. With people and my friends and my group of people that are here with me. Nikki is in the house. Nikki is here every day. Thank you for her support. Tonight, if you want to join us at 7 o'clock Eastern time, we will be doing the Motivational Music Hour, which Nikki has put together awesome. Well, we put together the playlist, but she put together the playlist of all the music that we've come up with. It's like over 180 songs or something like that, which is great. It is awesome. I was listening to it yesterday, and it's like, there's not a bad song on that thing. It is awesome. So, I got to be honest with you. This morning, I'm a little lost. I'm gonna have to work on. Just gonna reflect on the week so far. It is Wednesday, and I do so much stuff. Nikki is over on YouTube. If you're joining on TikTok, it looks like Nikki's the only one there in TikTok. We've got some people hopping in and off. Go over to Shaping Success with Wes Tankersley on YouTube. Subscribe to that. Hit the bell. Come join us every morning so you can get in on the conversation. And you can drop in some of the things that you're thinking about, some of the things that you want to talk about. But, Wednesday is one of those days. I haven't done a whole lot of interviews on Shaping Success lately. So it's kind of interesting. And I don't necessarily know that it's something that I'm going to do a lot of. I do have a couple planned out that I've planned for a while now. But they're just, I don't know. It is what it is. They inspire me, but some of the feedback that I've gotten about the interviews, which I don't mind doing them because I like talking to people and I like getting information from them about how they've created their success, has been redundant, I guess is the word. I've done this for 4 years now, and I've done a lot of interviews, and I've talked to a lot of really cool people. But it seems as though that the information it just gets a little kind of the same thing over and over again, right? Because success is generated by you. You decide what it is. You determine how you're going to do that. But I think that a lot of times you start doing things that are comfortable and repetitive. And the feedback that I've gotten was, well, anyone can say the same thing that they're saying over and over again, which is one of those things, but you don't really see the big picture. And maybe it's just because I'm not good at interviewing people, but I tend to answer the same questions over and over again. So people like this because they feel like I am, from what I've heard, right? This isn't me, but they get to know me a little bit better on a different level. Which is fun, which is cool because I'm actually getting to say some things that I do not say over and over again. I guess the best way to explain it is that because Nikki's saying what I don't feel that way, not redundant. This space, so there's niches in podcasting, right? There's like Jay's Cars and Culture. Some people do true crime, which is very popular. I don't know why, because it doesn't intrigue me. But a lot of people do that. A lot of people watch that. Like it's very saturated or not saturated. You have to be in the right state of mind to be motivated, to want to be positive, to want to do these types of things. And I feel like a lot of times what happens is people will get turned off by the fact that, it's like a rah thing, right? Because I think I talked about it the other day. Like I was talking about my mom and how on Facebook she used to post these quotes. She still does probably. I just don't see them as often because I as rudely as it is, don't follow my mother. But like I'm sitting there going, now I'm just that way. Da, da, da. Like, like I could get into that place. And then when I finally found this headspace that I'm in where I need that stuff, I start to use those things as fuel, and I start to listen to those types of things and start to search that stuff out, and you start to find things that want to motivate you. And this year on the podcast has been more of a kind of like a, I don't know if you would call it self-discovery, but it's a little bit different because instead of searching out and trying to find guests and hoping that I could land that one big guest that everyone wants to hear, I started doing this. I started doing these solo episodes, and now I'm starting to do them weekly. So it's a little different, but there's a lot of stuff going on. There's a lot of things that happen in everyday life of a person like me, like you, like anyone else who is hanging out and been along for this ride that people don't see. I don't know if I can, I'm trying to think of like how to say this. There was something that I saw the other day and it was kind of funny. Everyone sees the success, but it's funny. They said success is kind of like being pregnant. Everyone sees the success, but nobody knows how many times it took to get pregnant. Like that. It's very crude and very different. But the fact of the matter is that there's so many times that you fail, right? They don't know how many times you failed before you had the success because it never happens right away. And so I'm not like, if you think of the podcast in the way that you might think of it. So say success is having 100 downloads, right? And on one episode in the first week, right? So you think about that. If success is having 100 downloads on the first episode, on the new episode in 1 week, I haven't been successful yet because I haven't ever had an episode where I got 100 downloads on the first week that it's released. So, but I've done it, I've put out 260 something episodes. So that's how many times I failed at getting 100 downloads in the first week. But I'm still here. So that's kind of the thing. It's like, it may not happen right now, but I have so much faith that this is going to happen at some point where this is going to take off, or there is going to be something that comes of it that's more powerful than just what's happening. And you have to be willing to keep trying, keep working, keep moving, keep pushing, keep doing everything that you have to do to make that happen. Does it mean that's not successful? No. I mean, like, there's a lot of people who in like the podcast world that quit, right? They don't continue to do it because they don't get that satisfaction from doing it. But this is more of it's funny, like there's all these words that you could use it for. It's like right now it's video vlog or whatever. This is more of like a diary, like a testament of what's going on in my life. And hopefully it'll help you to figure out what you need to do in your life to reach those goals that you want to do or want to achieve, So just kind of the everyday life. And it's funny because I think that one of the things that had happened to me was I was a teacher and I enjoyed doing that. And I wanted to make a difference in people's lives and help them to achieve goals like this. But I wasn't able to do that because they weren't getting the message. You think about how you were when you're like a 16, 17-year-old kid. Do you really care about that stuff? Do you really want to work harder? And then kids just expecting stuff to happen, just wanting the grade when they show up. Like, showing up is only half the battle. Just being there is not going to get it done. So more than showing up, you have to do the work, right? Which brings me to what I'm thinking. I was just thinking about that. This is the deep thought thing, and this is when you're going to get the quietness of me, because I'm thinking about that. I'm thinking about, showing up, just showing up is half the battle. Just being there doesn't do the work for you, right? So you got to be willing to do the work in order to reach the goal that you want. So I'm here, right? I'm here. That's part of it. But then the speaking, the talking, the thing is you have to, like Nikki's saying over here, you have to put the effort in. And that means that you're having to try to ever evolve. And that's kind of where this has been. Like I went from sitting in a garage with an iPad and some lav mics to getting microphones and better cameras and different setups and things like that to make the show better. And then things happen, right? Barriers, like we talked about, there's barriers and things like that. So like this space is something that I planned out for a very long time, but I also didn't plan out the situation where I may have to move this space. I may have to do something different. And so then in my head, I'm having a hard time doing more in this space. Like I have more things to do, but it's like, is it going to be, like this wall behind me? You can see the little gaps in that and stuff, and I want to fix that, but I'm only fixing it for a minute because it's going to have to come down. It's going to have to go somewhere else. I'm going to have to build something more. I'm going to have to do something different. And so I have a hard time with that, doing more, putting more up. Like I have a nice camera that I purchased that is, I probably couldn't afford, but I thought, you know what, I'm going to bet on myself. I'm going to get it, and then I'm going to have better camera for you. I'm going to have, like, the lighting right now is in here this is new lighting that I needed because people always complain about the way that it looks, but trying to make it look better and do more and keep going. It takes time, takes money, takes energy, takes effort. And sometimes you get that rug swept out from under you, but you have the choice, right? Like I could just say, screw this. I'm not going to do this right now. As far as like setting up the camera, I need to do it. I got to find time. Time is not on my side right now, which again, excuses. You can make as many excuses as you want. It's funny as I'm talking about this, I'm thinking about it in my own mind. It's like we can sit here, we can make all these excuses of why we don't do something. We just need to do it. Find the time. So we talked about time yesterday, and where you think about there's 24 hours in a day, and what are you doing with that time? So there's really 16 hours. If you think about it, like if you sleep 8 hours and you work 8 hours, there's 16 hours dedicated to just those two things, right? So then you have 8 hours. You have 8 other hours. What are you doing with those 8 other hours? And if you sat down and you broke down what you do, and that would be, the great thing about you, Brandon, is I really appreciate that. It's great that you feel the need to come into someone's live and say something like that. But I'm glad that you feel good about yourself by doing something like that. So if you think about those things, like someone like this over here who is just such a great person that they feel like they have to come into someone's live and start talking trash about him, is if I could just stop right now because, he's a great person and that's the types of things that he likes to do, but it doesn't really matter. He can't stop someone because he's afraid to take the steps that he needs to take. So that's great. So anyway, back to it, but you have the choice. You can make those excuses. I could quit right now because some troll is over here talking smack, or I could just keep going. There's lots of excuses and reasons why you don't do things. So anyway, showing up is half the battle. Showing up and doing the work is half the battle. And that's what you have to do. You have to be there. You have to continue to do the work. One of my favorite coaches is Bill Walsh. I don't know if you guys know who Bill Walsh is, but he had the opportunity to coach Joe Montana, and he had the work to do, and he was able to make something out of nothing. But if you read his book, The Score Takes